Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mohammed Taman. Okay, I'm working for a company called eFinance. It's responsible for providing e-payment services for all over the country, from tax, customs, pensions, whatever the payment services for the company, fuel subsidy system for the government-based projects. At the same time, we're serving people, so we need to provide content on the hand. So we are developing mobile application as well, like the other one. So I would like to share my experience in developing mobile applications, hybrid one and Android-based. Okay, on the single ID NetBeans, you don't have to use NetBeans specific. So this is not just driving you to use NetBeans as Android. There's a lot of another IDEs you can use, like ADT, Android Development Kit, or the new one, which is Android Studio, and many of IDEs. The main idea behind using NetBeans is you are a Java developer. Okay, you are using Java EE, Java SE, Java ME, sometimes Java ME, and you don't want to bother yourself with many IDEs to work with. I'm going to start Java in this way and this way. I'm involved to work with NetBeans development, and since Java 7.4, it has a great introduction for mobile development, especially hybrid, and introduction to HTML5, JavaScript, and CS3, which is you can use for hybrid development. And the other part is there is a plugin supports Android-based development. Okay, we are going to see all of this. This is my bio. If you would like to contact, to just any question, anything, you can capture the picture for this context. I'm an EC member. I'm GCP EC member, executive committee member of GCP community. I'm a system architect and design supervisor in my company. I'm consultant outside. Speaking, because of this, I'm here. And I like photography. And let's start our agenda. Okay. Going to introduce anything. We are going to explain the topic that we are going to work with. Then we will divide by 50% of, we'll do a code for project, NetBeans project from start, from scratch. Then we will compile, we will test, we will add some feature, then deploy it on the emulator and devices. The same for hybrid one. Okay, how many of you working with mobile development? A number. Okay, great. So we are going to start from scratch as a concept. Okay, not buzzy talking about the concept, but the main important topics about the concept, how to develop, which type of development we would like to use. Okay, when I can go to hybrid mobile development, when I can go native, when I can mix it, whatever the type, and why we should do this, and what is the pros and cons between each development type. At the same time, we're going to see real project we are going to develop with each other on NetBeans for the post of the types that the time will allow us to do. Okay, this is our agenda. Let's start why we need development. You know that now mobile developments, handheld, tablets, smart devices, with you all of the time. You don't need to check your mail, your content, your daily news, whatever, from your laptop. Okay, it's on your smartphone. The same for your services. I would like to check in for the hotel. I would like to reserve a booking flight, all of this. So I need my content. And at the same time, you have internet-based. Okay, we are so busy to have our laptop, just open to check mails, for example, it's TD task, and we have internet everywhere. So you have to add this skill too. And when you develop for users, they expect that they need minimal access to the content by the handheld device that in his pockets or her pockets. So they need all of the services. For us, I'm working with a fuel subsidy system. Most of the people don't want to go to the website, register. You're supposed to provide me a mobile application so I can register with. Okay, I would like to know my fuel amount remaining in my card, my amount of the money in my, like HSBC banking, if you're working with another banking system, it's much better to do all your transactions and you're checking them from your mobile device. Therefore, all of the customers for your development expect that you will provide an easy way to access their content from your services, not just the web. Therefore, you have to add this skill to you. Now we are running in IoT, Internet of Things. This is the new era. We are working with ECM meetings and all the embedded systems now, like Raspberry Pi, Arduino. You have to play with, this is a conceptual thing, Internet of Things. Internet of Things are just smart devices or whatever device you can work with, just interact with each other with specific APIs and you get the result. For example, when we were in Java 1 last year, 2013, we entered to the first time to enter the keynotes, okay, without registering your name, without counting your numbers. Just enter to the hall, get your seat, and that's done. You are working. I noticed something that they control the temperature of the room, the whole hall, okay, correctly. You don't feel cold or you don't feel hot. At the final of the presentation, we figure out that the seats have sensors that take your weights, so they know that you are sitting here, okay, and at the same time get your temperature and send it to the server, okay. Then the server get this, control the air conditioning by your data gathering. This is some simple example of IoT. Another one, smart houses. You can control your home, open your internet on the laptop, open your laptop, prepare your cafe, just inform the garage door to open just by taking your car picture, all of this from your mobile and detection of your service, where are you, and it will prepare your stuff at your home till tracking your destination, okay, till you arrive your home. This type of Internet of Things is involved in many industry, not just software industry. So you have to add these skills. From 5 years, you look to mobile development like, it's a development tool like Java Card, like Java Embedded, and you don't want to bother yourself with new addition of this. It's basic skill that you have to. Sometimes when you're going to propose yourself for a company, do you know some sort of mobile development, like Hyper, some of this? If yes, it's bonus, big bonus for you. So for IoT, don't wait till the end of the era, then everything work with IoT, then you have to add this. It's like take the cream from the first beginning. Okay. So we have to need this skill. Whatever the development, I'm here specifically talking about Android because we are Java developers. Maybe you are interested in working with Android. Android is Java-based system, okay? And Hyper, one of the most interested, another development type, okay, that we will see here. For guys who are working with mobile development, how many types you can imagine you can develop? Types of development. It's native all the time? Not all the time. Now we have multiple types of development of mobile applications. One is mobile browser based. When you go to the news website for news, for example, CNN, for BBC, you will find if you have entered from your smart device, you will switch it to another domain for mobile device to customize the content for your handheld or smart device. This is called mobile development. It's just normal web development, okay, with customization for your handheld and resolutions and user experience. It's mobile-based with mobile-based development. This one case. We will see when we are going, we should go to this path and when we should go to the other passes. Native, hybrid, it's called hybrid. So what's hybrid? It's just web mobile development, and you just wrap your content to be an app installed on your device. So you can work with your app offline. But it's a hybridization between web development and at the same time native development. But you don't really care about native because there is a tool do all of the shelling and the native wrapping. Okay? You just focus for your web development. The other one is hybrid, that's the same but mixed. You have to do some Java code, some Objective-C, some C# code, as well as your normal hybrid, because if you would like to control some feature of the hardware of the device directly that you can do with your web mobile development. Web mobiles mean you are working with HTML5, JavaScript, and CSS. The other and normal one, it's native. Native means I'm working on Android-based. So you are working Java-based, no hyper, nothing else. So your target platform is Android. Your target platform is Objective-C with Apple Store, okay, BlackBerry Store, whatever it is. This is native. Okay. Any questions here? It's clear? Fine. When to use each type? So this is very big decision and confusing, okay? I can learn native, hybrid, this stuff. Let's see. Here is web application. Here is the hybrid apps and the native apps. Let's see in terms of efforts and features. Features like accessing mobile features like camera, like content, like GPS, like all of this. Which type allow us to do this and which type we can't do this with. And at the same time, your skills, based on your skills, what can you do and what you can't do. And what skills you have to add to yourself to do each one. Okay, single effort mean for web application, yes, it's single effort because I'm web developer. I don't have skills for Objective-C, Android, Java, even Java. I don't have C#, BlackBerry, SDK. I like my web application, and I would like to submit this application to the store. You can take your HTML5, OK, App Store. I would like to submit this. What is this? I would like to submit IBA or ABA for Android. It's not ABA, ABK. Okay, this is like the ear, like the war. You can take your HTML, just put it in your war, upload the file, and use it for your distribution. You have to configure your application for the native content. This is for hybrid. For native, okay, you don't have a single effort. You have to use multiple efforts to submit for each platform. In web means I am migrating my website to mobile website. So there is no effort. And when the user can open from Android phone, from iOS, there is no additional efforts to do with multiple platforms. Here, yes, you have to work with, you have your application, but with tools you can compile for natives for each platform. But at one time, you don't have to use you don't have in your company to have Android developer, iOS developer, BlackBerry developer, and C# developer for Windows, for example. 5 developers, you have to have one. No web, okay, using Cordova or PhoneGap, wrap your application, target multiple platforms. Server-side updates, yes, web applications can afford to an update, frequent update without submitting your application again and again to the App Store, which take a lot of time for revision. In Hypert you have to do, but you can have a trick in this. You work with mobile, web, and you convert it to native. Okay, it's now in the App Store and your mobile as offline. You can get your updates from your mobile device from your server and update your content locally without submitting your application again. For native, you can do this. You have, even if you have single bug, you have to fix it and submit the application. For Apple, it takes 2 weeks for revision. It's for Android, it takes from 3 to 4 hours. The process depends on some points. Apple have multiple points to review. Android just preview your content is not malwared. And the testing bugs, it's your own issue. Okay, for feels like an app, this is one of the most and biggest issue for App Store, that if you submit an application that's not look like an App Store application or the UI context, they will reject it. You will find all these guidelines in App Store. For Android, whatever you develop, put it in the store. It's your reputation, not there. Deploy to App Store. I can deploy web because it's not native installer. For Hypert, for sure, you can do it, and for native, exactly, you have the same. This is the features that you can access from all of these types. For speaker microphone, you can access from web app using audio features of the HTML5. For Hypert, yes, because you have bridging plugins that bridge between your code in HTML5, okay, and the native code inside your native hardware. So you can connect directly to your hardware. For native, for sure, everything for native is capable. You can do it because you are targeting your mobile. For camera, for GPS, it's supported because HTML5 have GPS location tracking. For web, you can use it for desktop. And for Hypert and native application, most interested is you can use your assisted GPS chipset installed under your device. But for web, it's use your web connection or triangular one, which is 3G or 4G. In web, sometimes for Wi-Fi, it's not more accurate. For 3G, it's more accurate. For GPS chipset, it's more and more accurate. For accelerometers, you can use all of this. Local storage, yes, because HTML5 have local storage now in terms of sessions or local, or you have WebSQL, which is database locally stored. You can store your offline content. One of these benefits I get use of because my application is targeting all the countries, governments, and all of the databases, fuel station tracking locations, put it in the database. And I would like to access all of this information offline without contacting my my server. I do this with local storage WebSQL DB. There is another standard, which is IndexedDB. IndexedDB targeting, if you would like to target multiple platforms like Windows Explorer, IE, Chrome, Mozilla, Firefox, and Safari. Safari and Chrome, the same work with WebSQL DB, which is SQLite standard, and IE and Mozilla Firefox doesn't work with WebSQL because it's dropped specification from W3C standard. It works with IndexedDB. IndexedDB, which is key value based database and have map reduce functions and sort of this. So if you would like to target all of this, you have to develop to check your browser and call the relevant function for your browser. If you IE, you will work with IndexedDB. If you are Safari or Chrome, you will work with WebSQL DB. App Store approvals requires. There is no approval requires for web apps. Why? Because it's not native. installers. For other posts, yes. Access to the contacts, intercommunication, contacts your contacts. If you would like to access contacts, to retrieve information, add new contacts, all of this. Contact book. All of this has plugins for Hyperd. And for sure, for native, you can access all of your APIs. Intercommunication means you can connect, like Facebook. When you work with Facebook, now would like to send me a message, for example, you have to, Facebook provide you, okay, there is another application you can work with, which is Facebook Messenger. So you have to install it. Then you can go back and forth between the posts. This is intercommunication between both applications. You can do all of this between all the apps and much provided by native applications. Full OS API access, no for posts, yes here, for sure, because it's native, you are on the hardware with your local development, native development. Notifications, which is notification that you get when new updates appears on your applications, notification, hey, we have a new collection of summer, we are H&M, and we provide a summer collection. You will find this notification in your mobile. You can't for web, but you can for Hyperd and native. Why Hyperd? Why? Because there is a shell that make your web application can contact your native application, native API. So you can work with this. Most of the features that provided by native, you can find it with Hyperd mobile development. Local file systems, you can do it with Hyperd and Post. Network communication, yes, for all of this. In terms of you can ask me network communication, all of this can access network communication. Web app can't work with network communication. No, in terms of features you can use. Features like management of the life cycle of the network communication, like if you are going offline, you would like to disable some features. If you are online, you would like enable these features. So the user, this is the feeling of the connection and GPS and whatever your online content. Okay, I'm now offline, I have to store the user content in the local storage. Okay, I'm online, I would like to get all of this and submit it to the server. This is life cycle management. It's provided for both this and less supported by web applications. Okay, and in web application you can work with offline application, which is specification of HTML5. Here has a different one, have the life cycle, fully life cycle based on the native API. Okay, too much talking. Let's compare it business. If you work in company, if you see it from business perspective, like, let's see the pros. Here are the native apps development and Hyperd development, okay? Left native, right Hyperd. You have a developer specialization and gaining experience. What does it mean? It means that for each platform you have to have a developer. On Hyperd, no. You know web development, just develop your site. Cordova, please compile for Android and iOS and all platforms that I would like to support. You will have all the installers for each platform. That's it. Great user experience, for sure, because you are working with Java. I'm using Swing. Swing, this is a framework developed for user interface. Okay, so Android provide user experience UI library you're using, so the context of all the applications in the store, okay, have the same look and feel. This is one of the mandatory requirement for App Store, which is Apple Store. Okay, and you can fail if your application doesn't look like the native API. There is a lot of framework like jQuery mobile, like Topaco, like a lot of this can mimic the user interface of App Store applications, native. So you can get the approval of this. Great functionality with hardware for sure, because there is no layer between the user and the hardware, just the application and hardware directly, because it's native. Okay. On the other hand, a presence in multi-platform, you support multiple platforms. okay, for large audience, if you would like to do this. Quicker and easier updates. As I told you, you can do it by just providing the like. Sometimes when I open my HSBC account, okay, on the phone, I found, hey, please, I have an update. Can I update? Not from the store, from inside the application itself. Only a portion of the code different across platform. Sure. Why? Because we're talking about I'm getting my web application, wrap it, and to submit it. The wrap and the plugins, connections between your web application and all of this have to be translated into Java applications, into Objective-C code, into C# code, into BlackBerry Android code. So it should have some portion. If you would like add functionality for this, you can go to work with this. And I had faced this as a problem, and I do it in the Java level coding with my hybrid one. I'll talk about this. On the other hand, requires specific development for each platform, for sure. Slower to run. Now it's obsolete because of you have 4-core on your smart device. You have quad processors, you have 2 gig processor. There is no more. The main issue is the memory. Always the main issue in the application, especially in the memory, for both. Okay, you have to manage your variables, your content, your updating, all of the performance. Maybe the term is slower to run. It's not slower to run, it's just the memory issue. Okay, so you have to take care of your memory implementations. Hyper tools are still relatively immature. After Cordova and PhoneGap version 3.4, it's totally immature now. I didn't face bugs with them on multiple devices. I just maybe some minor with the native code. When I open the project with Xcode, sometimes there is problems because Xcode maybe have a versions greater than the versions compiled and created the project with Cordova. Great risk of rejection, yes, as I told you, especially from App Store, not the Play Store, because they have a very strict guidelines. I have finished this. Any questions? Clear now? Okay, let's move to the development. Okay, too much work. We now have 4 types of development. We will concentrate on native, which is Android, and hybrid one. So what's the development requirement for hybrid development? We have to install Node.js, for example. Instead of installing the Cordova separately, PhoneGap separately, you have Node.js and you can update your software from Node.js. And you have all of the library. You have AngularJS, whatever you would like to use with hybrid. Any type of, it's web development. Okay? It's web development, but you have to just tweak it for your device experience. You can use jQuery mobile, okay? So it's take care of the UI. You can use Topico, you can use, at the back end, you can use AngularJS, requires, you can use your custom code, whatever you want. It's mobile. What you would like to take care of, just the interface. Install PhoneGap, Cordova, if you would like to do it separately. If you do it from Node.js, you have all the libraries installed. You have to install it from JS for the first time. And install Git. It's required. Because I'm going to use NetBean. NetBean requires that you have to have Git and Cordova library in your class path. For mobile development, you have any idea if you would like, but we are going to talk about NetBeans, and we will see which features supported that make it easy for you to develop both of the applications. You have to have Android SDK. You have to have each SDK for each platform you would like to target. Okay, for hybrid. Because finally, Cordova uses the SDK to compile to the native package. But without you worrying to understand the SDK, to enter to the creation of the project for compiling, running the emulator, just use one Cordova CLI, command line interface. Okay, Cordova run, Cordova test, Cordova create projects, whatever your platform, it's create project structure for all that platform. Then finally compile Android, compile iOS, compile whatever you want. So you have to have each SDK for each platform you would like to target. You need really to have a real device. Don't rely on emulators or simulators. I have faced a very big problem with this one in production environment, and I have to postpone my application for 3 days because we have a holiday Friday and Saturday till Sunday. And I have supposed to submit my application to App Store and iOS on Thursday. Everything is working correctly on emulator, nothing failed, done working functionality. But when I deploy it on my friend, my team mobile, it fails. I don't know what is the problem. Then I use the logging logcat. Okay, I get the application. I installed the application on the Android real device. From the emulator, I didn't find the log anything reported as a problem. When I connected to the real device, I found many problems preventing my application from starting. So, what if I don't have real device? My advice is when you work with emulator or simulators, there is difference between the two. In terms of just the testing on them. Just test your UI. Don't test your functionality. Core functionality, don't test it. Don't rely on the emulator and simulator. Okay, just you would like to test the UI. It's consistent, it's okay, the look and feel, there is no problem. But when you test functionality, the real functionality, the calling of your local storage files, even the JavaScript, all of us know that JavaScript is not object-oriented, okay, and it can be parsed for the first time, then the library, it can be called. And real devices is treated as it's procedural. For example, when you access Google Map, okay, and you try to reference Google Map at the first line and it's not initialized, it will throw an error. This error, it may be JavaScript error, but will prevent your application from starting, your native application. This is the big problem. I found this problem, okay, this is undefined reference. Okay. On the emulator, there is no any reporting for this problem on the emulator because it's considered the running application like web browser, okay? But on real device, it's native because it's compiled native. So don't rely in your functionality on emulators. NetBeans NB Android, this is very interesting plugin that we are going to use and provide the youth to create an Android-based application from NetBeans. Install OEM USB driver because on Windows especially, it doesn't matter on Mac because of on Windows you have to, when you attach your device, the Windows see your device as a local storage. You can take it. It's not real device. All the OEM USB driver are listed on Android website, which is Android.developer website. You'll find for major brands like Acer, Sony, whatever. You can install it, and the Windows will see your applications, hardware, phone hardware. So you will find your hardware on your IDE. Enabling device option on device so you can debug. It's one of the most important. To enable developer options when you connect to your mobile. Because of you need to enable multiple features, logs, maintain the log on the device or whatever the connection from the logcat, your ID, you need to see everything, so you have to enable this. I put everyone that have Android device, version 4 and above, from 4.2 to above, to find developer option. Can you find it? Do you know the trick where? No, not just any. Grab your phone, try to find it, show me. Do you have Android 4.2?
So just developer option?
which version you use? For where is it? Okay. Where is developer options?
I just flashed recently, so I registered a native developer options.
Yes, because I didn't find it at the first time. You have to go to the options, build version, about, build version, tap 5 times on build version, then you will find it enabled and previously. No, that's from 4 platform, from 4.2 and above.
All devices on this platform, right?
Yes, on all devices. Just a platform issue, not the hardware issue. Okay. For NetBeans, let's see what the features. NetBeans provide already support for mobile development for embedded and ME and Java card for sure, and now provide development for Java-based system, okay, which we are going to use using the NetBeans Android now, and it's Java IDE. And for Android, you have this plugin. You can download it from this site or update it, okay? And you will find when you create your application structure like this, which is mimic the same structure that you created from ADT or Android Studio. At the same time, excellent testing support, for sure, has a testing running capability different from iOS and Android, something like this. When you work with mobile development, you can use embedded WebKit browser from internal from your Android directly, or on Chrome, it has a plugin that you can, when you update on your code, just you see the reflection inside your mobile or your web browser without refreshing or redeploying. You have all the extension here for Android and iOS. You can run on the simulators, Android devices, on Chrome on the devices, because of if you working with web app development, not Hyper. For Hyper, to use simulators, and if you would like to use Android device, okay, and emulators. Here is Cordova, support for Hyper mobile development. Cordova for iOS devices, Cordova for iOS simulator, and for emulator, and you can configure Cordova by adding plugins, and we will see this. Web and Hyper has a nice JavaScript library support, okay, without downloading and searching headache. How? Now in Java 8 and 7.4.1 and NetBeans 8, you will find a library. When you develop, you find JavaScript tool that let you get all the library from the internet. Just choose your library, add it. It will download and put it in your library folder without going to each site to download all the libraries I would like to. And you can update it. If you would like to work with jQuery mobile, TopCo UI interface, and AngularJS, whatever, you can choose all of this from the IDE. Okay, I would like to use those. The IDE will install all of them to you and put it in your library folder without going to 5 websites to download and bring the correct one for each library you would like to use. Something like this. You find all the libraries and you can update, and you can provide the folder, choose whatever you want, and you will find at your hand. Cordova support, it supports Cordova and PhoneGap, as you have seen previously, for developing HTML5, CS, and JavaScript functionalities. Especially, it has very great support for HTML5 and CSS and JavaScript features inside the IntelliSync and support inside the NetBeans. Support for adding Cordova plugins without using command line. Okay, you have all the Cordova plugins. You can add whatever you want to work with, and then you will find the plugins for your application, and you can use the JavaScript version, and it will contact your native version without your interaction. Okay, let's see, coding, that's enough. Okay, now we are going to see, we are going to create, okay, simple application, okay, it's native based Android, and do some editing and running this application in the emulator. And we will see the process of compiling and everything. In 5 minutes we will take for this. We have, this is prerequisite, creating project, coding the example, testing, compiling, distributing your applications. So I have installed NB Android, the plugin I have told you about, and when you install it, you will find a new category under your Java development, which is Android. This will be added, okay? You can choose your Android project, and you can add another project for your Android application. Test a project, you can use JUnit or whatever Java-based unit testing. It's fine. Okay, this is your name, the name of the application. This name will be provided to the users when you submit your application to the market. Take care of this name. The package name should be, not should, must be unique for your entire application updates, and even if you change the name. This is the, Google use this package name to identify your mobile application. You can change the name, whatever you want, as I did, okay, because I face experience with the users when I call, it's called Benzenti, which is fuel station finders. They might, okay, they type B-A, not BN. Then I have realized this from experience perspective, then I changed the name to B-A-N-Z, Benzenti, instead of Benzenti. Okay, but you can't in the middle change the package name. If you change it, Google Play will consider the application as a different application, and it will not update the existing one, it will add it as a new application. So you have two applications with the same name. Take care of this. The package name is very important. It's normal Java package naming, okay? Reverse domain, okay, naming like com, whatever you want. Let's us you have to provide a target, which target would like to support. Let's use latest target. By the way, it gets all of these targets from your Android SDK. Okay, you have installed. If you update it, you will find all these targets. Let's finish. What is a mouse? Build, so we can get rid of this. Let's check something here. If you, this is the final one, which is Android application 1 debug and aligned ABK. This is a native installer. You can upload it to apps to Google Play and submit your application for your users. It uses all of Android SDK. It looks for Android SDK, then use the batches used for building and for anything. It doesn't make any magic here. So you have to install Android SDK. Now we have built our system. Let's play with sources, layout, for example. Okay. Run. It comes here because it's, yes, it's opening the emulator. Because it's the default one installed, there is no real device connected. If there is a real device, you will find an option, would you like to run on an emulator or real device? So you have to choose between them. By the way, Android emulator is very, very, very slow in normal cases, in both Windows and Mac, and you have to install HiMax, which is hyper virtualization for Intel-based systems, because Android default is based on ARM processors. And when they start up, they try to translate from ARM to Intel-based, to take too much time. Intel adds images for Intel-based, and you have to enable the virtualization level on the hardware. I have blog about this. And so it's just running in 2 minutes, and less than 1 minute. Before, it takes 10 minutes to just run. By the way, this plugins you can install from SDK. Here is our application running, Hello World from Java, from JeeConf. Where is the application? It's you can find here main activity 1. Here is our application compiled, running on your device, and you can take this APK and connect your device, and you will find it on your device. This is how you can develop in easy way your Android-based systems. Any questions? You have to learn in Android skills to build your final application for sure. And another, you can't work with Java 8 because the SDK is not ready for Java 8. You will get compiler errors. The final Java 7, and you can use Java 7 features. Okay. Developing, if I would like to develop hybrid mobile application, how can I do it? With hybrid mobile application, we have the same life cycle, okay, but let's see what's called PhoneGap. Do you hear about PhoneGap? It's just a service provided from Adobe. It was previously an open source project under Apache, and now it's acquired by Adobe. And provide you support for building your application, HTML application, from a zip content or from your GitHub account, and wrap it and provide you multiple installers for different platforms from the web. So you can install on your friends' devices, on your devices, whatever you want. Just building capabilities and services for your application. At the same time, it's underlying, it uses Cordova for wrapping your HTML file. You write your application in terms of HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. So you have to wrap it as a native, as you see, the APK file. How to do it? Using this one. What is the magic here is Cordova using standard structure for each platform. It's downloaded from internet, and putting your resources inside this application and call it as a web container from your content view, from your hardware, from your Java application or your native code. Okay, this is the magic. Just opening your index.html file from your web view content from your Android application or Objective-C or whatever. So it's a wrapper for your application. Just a recall of this, and wrap it to application. The same thing is a bridge. If you need to these capabilities like geolocation, contact camera, accelerometers, whatever, Cordova provide multiple plugins that you can work with to add these features to your code. The plugins has JavaScript interface. Then you have multiple platforms. Let's see the demo. Now we have Android one. You don't have to use any plugins. It's supported by default from 7.4 and NetBeans. Let's go here, HTML. Did you see Cordova application? When you work with mobile development, you will figure out that the same requirement will be required for the package name, the name, all of this information. Okay, I would like to use Cordova. Then what is application name? HTML file application. Okay, next. Which template would you like to use? Would you like to use HTML5 boilerplate? Would you like AngularJS? Whatever, this is your web application. Okay, no, please let me choose the standard one, Cordova Hello application. It's fine for me. Or you can say no template, I'm going to start from scratch. Here you can choose your JavaScript libraries. Okay, I would like to use jQuery, for example. Here is all the jQuery plugins, libraries, whatever you want, jQuery. Dash mobile, for example, yes, I would like to use 1.4.2. You can press update and you will get latest version of all the libraries. The same as jQuery itself. Next. If you don't like or won't like to use the local libraries, you can use the CDN version. Here is the most common part of our application ID, which is the package name. It should be unique for all platform. Okay, and here is the application name for your users and the version name for your users. It's different from code-based name inside your manifest file or Android manifest file, which is differentiate for Apple Store or for Android Store. There is two versions you have to provide. The application version, this version go to the user. The user can see, we are version 8.5.2.3. And the other version, which is code-based, is for the App Store to identify this is an update. Version 2, version 3, version 4, and they can update. If you submit, you change the version name only and leave the base code version to 2, it will not submit it. You have already the version 2. It will get information from App Store that you already have the version. Okay, so this doesn't affect your versioning, it's affect just you're showing your user. What's most important here is this. Finish. You will find the structure, it's like normal web application. You'll feel that you can test it in your device, in your mobile. It's just getting the libraries, downloading. Okay, let's talk about the final part until the project is created, and we will see it. Testing. Okay. Always try to test on real device, as I told you, okay, for performance and final functionality. Use simulators and emulator for your GUI testing, but not for functionality. Bear this in mind. On the other hand, for applications make it web-enabled. Why? You don't need to bother yourself on running your application each time on real device or emulator. It takes time. So you can open your browser, test your application. It's web-based. And then at the final production, you have to change your clicks to tabs because of the difference between mouse and difference between the touch. For example, if you rely on click and using jQuery, you have to change it to tab because on click, for example, takes 30 seconds on the mobile device to realize this is a single tab. No click on the mobile, it's tabs. So the mobile waits 30 seconds if you are running for, is this a tab or double tab? If you just switch it to tab, you'll get performance peak for this. Just tapping, you will find the navigation. You don't have to wait for 30, sorry, not second, millisecond to switch. Not second. I'm sorry for this. The main testing issues you can bear in mind. You should bear in mind. Okay. This is the resources. If you'd like, take a picture for this. And this is the tools, articles you'll find interesting. iOS device development center and Android development guides, and the NetBeans Android version. That's back to our application. Finalize it. Here is our application. You'll find signed root, CSS, images, and your JavaScript. It's normal HTML5, no difference. Just putting some metadata for mobile, viewing portion of this, scaling capabilities, and your normal HTML development. This application simply showing Hello World from Cordova with Cordova logo, okay, and some animations using CSS3. You can find all of this in index.js. When you work with Java EE, you always try to use model view controller. You can do this. You can use, for example, JMobile as a just HTML, no CSS, no JavaScript, and your JavaScript at the back end as if it's a library like this, or AngularJS for modular one. And your back end could be files, could be local database, could be maybe anything. You can proxy it. Okay, I would like to run this application. That's all. You don't have anything more than this normal web device. From this, by the way, from here you can choose if you are developing this for the first time. You need to test it on the browser, so you can work with embedded or Chrome based, and then at the final production to see the real functionality and GUI, you can work on simulators like this. Because the plugins will not work in web. All the plugins, okay, will work on the emulator or real device.
Okay, the final try and go to the launch.
Let's download library for iOS, because I instruct to use Cordova emulator. You can, it's downloaded, you can use Android. Let's see it on iOS. For sure you have to have iOS SDK. And because of I'm on Mac, you have your SDK by default. Okay, let's this is the main SDK. I'm going to run tools, AVDs. I'll run my emulator. This is Hex, which is Intel based. It's running. I think that I'm configured. Plugins. Yes. Oh, all the plugins is enabled. Because of the plugins, it takes too much time to download all the plugins. I don't need them. Building, compiling, preparing the package, make obfuscate of the final APK, converting compiled files. This is your hypermobile application. Totally JavaScript, HTML5, and CSS. Compiled to EB, which installed on your device. Thank you for listening. Thanks for attendance. Any questions? I'll be available. Okay, and maybe I see some of you for tomorrow WebSockets based. It's masterclass, and we will do talking.